Tiger Woods was supposed to be writing one of the greatest final chapters golf has ever seen. That was the feeling. The whispers were growing, the hope was building, and every small update felt like it meant something bigger was coming. Arranged session here. A few words there. A hint that maybe, just maybe, 2026 would be the year we saw him step back into the storm one more time. But just when that comeback started to feel real, everything took a turn nobody could ignore. And not just a golf turn, a life turn. The kind that makes you stop talking about scorecards and leaderboards and start thinking about how fragile greatness really is. Because with Tiger, it has never been just about one more tournament. It is about survival, legacy, pain, pride, and the impossible standard he created for himself. And what happened next didn't just change the comeback timeline. It changed the entire way we have to look at this story. Stay with me, because the ending to this is not what most fans expected. And if you truly love golf, if this game means something to you, and if stories like this hit you on a deeper level than just wins and losses, then subscribe and become part of this golf family. Because this channel is for the fans who know golf is never just about golf. For a while, the comeback story felt almost familiar. That is what made it so gripping. Tiger Woods has built a career out of returning when people thought there was nothing left to return from. We have seen him fight through surgeries, pain, doubt, and the weight of his own history. So when people started talking about 2026, they were not talking out of pure fantasy. They were talking about a man who has already done the impossible more than once. And that hope had fuel behind it. Tiger had spoken publicly about trying to work his way back. He said he was hitting shots again. He made it clear he was still chasing a level where he could compete. Not just show up. Compete. That matters, because Tiger has never been interested in ceremonial golf. He is not built for token appearances. If he tees it up, he wants it to mean something. But here's the part nobody talks about enough. The Tiger Woods comeback is no longer just about whether he can swing a club. It is about whether his body, his schedule, and his life can all align at the same time. And for Tiger, that has become the hardest shot of all. Because when fans hear comeback, they imagine the walk up the fairway, the Sunday red, the crowd noise. They imagine Augusta shadows or a major championship fist pump. What they don't always picture is the daily reality behind it. The rehab, the stiffness, the days when your body answers no, even when your mind is screaming yes. Tiger himself admitted there were good days and bad days. Days he could do things, and days when movement itself was difficult. That is not the language of a man making easy progress. That is the language of someone fighting for every inch. And this is where everything changed. At first, the story was straightforward. Tiger was recovering. Fans were patient. Golf was waiting. But then the comeback took on a completely different tone. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from, when will he return, to what really matters right now. And that changes everything for a sports audience, because it forces us to remember something we sometimes forget when we talk about icons. Even legends are human. Even Tiger is human. That is what makes this so emotional. We want the heroic ending. We want the old electricity. We want one last roar that shakes the golf world. But sometimes the wild turn in a comeback story is not a surprise entry into a major. Sometimes it is the realization that the comeback itself may have to wait behind something bigger than sport. And still, because this is Tiger Woods, the intrigue never disappears. Just when the doubts were getting louder, he returned to action in TGL. Now, let's be honest, that is not the same as walking 72 holes under major championship pressure. It is not the Masters. It is not the Open. But it mattered. It mattered because it reminded everyone that he still wants to compete. It reminded fans that the fire is still there. Even in a different format, even with limitations, Tiger stepping back in a competition sends a message. He is not mentally gone from the game. Not even close. Wait till you hear what happened next. Because this is where hope and uncertainty collided. When Tiger spoke earlier in 2026, one detail stood out. He basically suggested the Achilles was no longer the main problem. Think about that for a second. For months, that injury had felt like the latest brutal roadblock. Then suddenly, it was not the central issue anymore. On paper, that sounds encouraging. Like maybe the road was opening. Maybe the worst was behind him. But then came the reality check. The back was still sore. The body was still unpredictable. And for a 50-year-old player with a history like Tiger's, unpredictability is everything. Golf at the highest level is not just about moments of brilliance. It is about repeatability. It is about waking up 4 days in a row and trusting your body to hold together under pressure. That is what makes a real comeback so hard to measure. One clean swing means nothing if the next morning you can barely move. And that is why Tiger's 2026 comeback took such a wild turn. It stopped being a clean sports timeline. It became a moving target. 1 week, fans could dream. The next week, the dream felt distant again. One appearance created momentum. One update brought everyone back down to earth. That emotional push and pull is exhausting. But it is also why the entire golf world stays locked in. Because this is not some ordinary veteran trying to hang on. This is Tiger Woods. The standard is unfairly high because he made a high. Nobody watches Tiger hoping for a nice little moment. People watch him because he changed what greatness looks like in golf. And yet maybe that is the lesson we are all being forced to learn. Maybe the final Tiger comeback cannot be judged by old Tiger standards. Maybe the win is not domination anymore. Maybe the win is simply getting back to a place where he can choose golf on his own terms. But here's where the story gets even deeper. Tiger's presence still shapes the sport, even when he is not inside the ropes. He is involved. He is thinking. He is pushing ideas. He still matters in every room he walks into. That creates a strange tension in this era of his career. On one hand, he remains one of the most powerful figures in golf. On the other, his physical reality keeps pulling him away from the version of himself fans miss the most. That gap is emotional, because every golf fan knows this game is built on memory. We remember shots, walks, Sundays, expressions. We remember Tiger not just as a player, but as a feeling. He made golf feel massive, urgent, cinematic. So when people say they want him back, they're not only talking about a name on a tee sheet. They're talking about wanting that feeling back too. And this is where everything gets surprisingly beautiful. Because maybe Tiger's greatest late career impact is not proving he can become the old Tiger again. Maybe he is showing what it looks like to keep fighting when the path no longer makes sense to anyone else. To keep trying when your body has betrayed you. To keep believing when the easy ending is gone. There is something deeply golf-like about that. This game humbles everyone, even the greatest. Maybe especially the greatest. Still, the unanswered question hangs over all of it. Will we actually see Tiger Woods make a true 2026 comeback in traditional tournament golf? Right now, nobody can say that with confidence. Not fans, not media, maybe not even Tiger himself. And honestly, that uncertainty is the wild turn. Not a shocking victory, not a secret comeback date. The wild turn is that the story became less about when Tiger returns and more about what returning even means now. That is heavy, but is real. Because if he comes back, every step will matter more than ever. Every practice round will matter. Every opening tee shot will matter. Every sign of pain, every flash of brilliance, every moment of frustration will be dissected by millions. And if he does not come back the way fans once imagined, that matters too. Because then this chapter becomes something else. Not a failed comeback, a human one. And that might be even more powerful. Think about it. A man who gave golf some of its most superhuman moments may now be teaching the game one of its most human lessons. That strength is not always loud. That greatness is not always trophies. That sometimes courage is just staying in the fight when the entire world is waiting for a miracle you may never be able to give them. But here's the part one keep coming back to. As long as Tiger still wants it, fans will keep believing. That is the bond. That is why this story refuses to die. Golf fans are loyal to struggle because this game teaches us struggle. We know what it is to come back the next day after a collapse, after a slice, after a round that made no sense. Tiger just lived that reality on the biggest stage the sport has ever seen. So yes, Tiger Woods' 2026 comeback took a wild turn. Not because the headlines got louder, not because the rumors got crazier, but because the story became bigger than competition. Bigger than scheduling, bigger than one more run of glory. It became a story about healing, identity, and what remains when the myth meets real life. And that is why stories like this matter. Because they remind us that golf is not only about who wins. It is about who keeps showing up. Tiger Woods gave this game unforgettable triumph. Now he is giving it something different, something quieter, maybe even something wiser. Whether he returns to the biggest stage or not, the reason we keep watching is the same reason we fell in love with golf in the first place. hope, uncertainty, nerve, heart. So let me ask you this. If Tiger does come back one more time, what would mean more to you now, one final major run, or simply seeing him walk onto that first tee healthy and ready again? Let me know in the